Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Sports Shorts Daily. Ronnie Rants alongside Tommy Chrysan. Ronnie Rants, I am in an undisclosed location presented by the Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame, headed up to Natchitoches, Louisiana today, where we're going to be up there honoring Doug Ireland, who's receiving a special award from Northwestern State University. Tommy Chrysan over at Tremonti's Meat and Seafood, rocking the Rougarou jersey over there. Tremonti's, of course, the home of the Rougarou hamburgers, and we sell them at the games. They're super successful. Everybody loves them. Tremonti's, if you don't have to just wait till June and July to get the Tremonti's hamburgers. You can go get them year round. Go see Mike and the gang over there, and tell them you want the roux sausage as well, the Rougarou sausage that they custom made for us during the season. They can do that for you as well. And we're of course presented by Le Bears Casino. Le Bears Casino. Going to be rocking and rolling tonight. If you're looking for something to do, they have the best Halloween party in all of Baton Rouge. It is going to be the Molly Ringwalds are in concert. Halloween, they always play up in the event center. They'll be in concert tonight. I think doors open at 8. They'll start playing about 9, go till midnight or so. Outside of that, there's a $5,000 costume contest going on in conjunction with the Molly Ringwalds. I'll be one of the judges, and we'll announce the winners at, I believe, 10:30 on stage. The different categories: individual, group, good ghouls going bad, all that kind of stuff. So, going to be a lot of fun. If you're looking for something, the best Halloween party is at Le Bears Baton Rouge tonight. Doors open at 8 o'clock. TK, a lot to get to today. Take us around the horn with what we got.
Well, you got LSU. The line has moved down a little bit, maybe more than a little bit. The Aggies now favored by 1 point, over and under 54.5. Both teams on a 6-game winning streak. Winner, sole possession of first place in the SEC. And, if you get to Atlanta, I think you're going to be in the 12-team playoff, regardless if you lose in Atlanta. So very important for a lot of reasons. A&M, LSU has kind of owned this series against A&M, other than that 7 overtime game thing a few years back. So we'll have to see it against A&M. While A&M's ranked, LSU's like 8-0. So all of them things are trending that way, but it's still going to have to happen Saturday night at College Station. A lot of LSU fans making the trip. I've talked to more than a few people that are headed that way and looking forward to the game. And it's going to be, national TV Saturday evening. It's one of the games of the weekend on the whole college slate.
Couple things. One, A&M was favored by 3. Now they're only favored by 1. So that's a lot of movement for, just a couple of days, and a couple of days where there's no real big injury news. This is just the gamblers and coming in there saying they think LSU is going to win this game, or, and so the lines moved because of that, because the money's coming on LSU. The other thing that I don't like is I love tradition. I think LSU's uniforms, the white jerseys, the gold pants, the gold helmet is one of the great traditions, and it seems like that tradition is gone. They're going to be wearing all white helmets, white jerseys, white pants. Look, I think it looks good, but I think the other looks better, and I like the idea that LSU, especially in SEC games and big games and bowl games and all that, is going to wear the white jerseys, the gold pants, and the gold helmet. And it's now, in the last few years, we've just gotten away from that,
Well,
and so unfortunately, you're not going to see that on Saturday.
Well, and A&M's going all black. They're going black helmet, jersey, pants. So you might think it's the old days with the black and white TV when you turn it on. Who knows? But no, I kind of agree with you. That gold helmet, gold pants, not only is it tradition and history, but that's one of the more iconic uniforms in college football. You look at, like, I remember when I was a kid with UCLA and Southern Cal would play, and UCLA wear the blue, Southern Cal the red. They did that on purpose for TV. And then, but going back, that LSU uniform, it's iconic, man. It's it. And I'm like you. I don't mind the all white. In fact, I think the all white looks good. I like it. I think it looks sharp, all that stuff. But you can overdo it. I think it'd be better if it didn't be it as often. Maybe pick one game a year to do it, and then let that be that. But it's really about what do these 20, 21-year-old kids want to wear. And that's what the coaches are catering to. They're not catering to Ronnie and TK, I can promise you.
Right. And the 20, 21-year-old kids don't even know that that's a tradition and a history. That's why it's, to me, up to the coach. All right, so the line has moved. LSU is a 1 point dog on the road. I really am pretty confident in the Tigers. There may be a thing as too confident. LSU, everything lines up that this should be an LSU win. My concern would be, the linebacker position. You're super thin there. If something happens to the big two, then all of a sudden that changes the dynamic of your defense quite a bit. Um, but right now, I think these Tigers are playing with a lot of confidence. That is going to be a tough place to play. It's going to be 100,000 people. And if LSU fans are going, they're not going to go for cheap. The tickets are $500 on up for good seats, and so it's an expensive ticket. It's a big ticket, and this is the type of game that A&M has been trending towards, right? With their program, with their NIL money, they've got some of the deepest pockets in all of college football. They've been kind of gearing up for this spot, and really the winner of this game, you really have to say, Tommy, the winner of this game, for all intents and purposes, should end up in Atlanta.
They really should, because not that LSU's schedule is soft, but it gets a little softer after Alabama, and if they can win this game, you got the week off, you got Bama. They can start thinking Atlanta, with a serious note there. So we'll see what happens. Hey, I'm gonna throw it out there. I got LSU winning 31-21. That's the TK go to 31-21 Tigers.
I think the winner of this game, because you'll be undefeated in the league, and the way the tiebreakers may work out, you probably have a mulligan. You probably have one loss in you, and still end up in Atlanta if you win this game. That's just early. Still, we're not even to November, but that's sort of how it seems like it would play out. Um, and I don't think anybody thinks LSU is going to lose two in November. You're at home against Alabama, you're on the road against Florida, you're at home against Vandy, and you're at home against Oklahoma. Like, I don't see two losses in there.
No.
Maybe one, but not two. So this would be
Well,
this is
and Alabama's looking more like a win than it maybe did a month ago. So,
yeah. I mean, it definitely more winnable than it did before the season and all that kind of stuff. Florida on the road may be a little more challenging than you think. Probably the biggest challenge about playing Florida on the road, if you can beat A&M and you can maybe beat Alabama, is just a letdown by
yeah,
your team.
well,
They're not looking at Florida on the road the way we used to. Vandy's proven they can be anybody. The thing about Vandy, though, is you're not going to sneak up on LSU. You're not going to sneak up on LSU. You're not going to sneak up on the fans, if because Vandy's done enough to get everybody's attention, and so you're not that's not going to be a trap game anymore. Probably Florida on the road is more of a trap game, and then Oklahoma just looks like a bad team. And then by the time you play them the last game of the year, they may be ready to move on. Yeah. Um.
and
All
Ronnie,
right.
tonight, World Series game one tonight. Yankees at Dodgers. Garrett Cole on the bump, the UCLA kid for the Yankees. Jack Flaherty on the mound for the Dodgers. Two former LSU Tigers are not on the World Series rosters, but they would still get a ring because they played in some games during the year. DJ LeMahieu with the Yankees, he won't play in the World Series. And then Hunter Paduccia, a kid from Lake Charles, who's on the Dodgers roster, but not on the World Series roster. They would both get a ring if their team wins. So that thing about LSU baseball guys getting rings is going to add one name to the list. But a lot of people fired up. It's game one. Game two will be tomorrow night in LA. I know I'll be watching tonight. Dodgers are minus $1.25 favorite against the Yankees. It's tough to bet against Garrett Cole, in my opinion, but it's going to be, East Coast, West Coast, two major markets. Should be a great series. A lot of people picking it to go 6 or 7 games. We'll see.
Yeah. The Dodgers. I mean, it's incredible, right? That where they're at. I mean, it's considering they have, I don't know, 5 or 6 arms that aren't pitching for them due to injury. That would be guys that would be 5 or 6 of their best, but yet here they are still in the World Series and very much in contention to do so. I agree with you, Garrett Cole. Man, it's hard for me to bet against him, especially rested, going back home, going West Coast, going back to where he's from, going back to UCLA, right in his backyard. If you're an LSU baseball fan, you remember back in 2010, LSU played in a regional. That was a year that after they won the national championship with Paul Maneri as head coach. Anthony Renato was their ace in 2010. LSU went to UCLA. They thought they were going to host a regional. I think they won the SEC tournament that year, and did not host a regional. They felt a little snubbed. And then not only did they feel snubbed, they sent them to a tough regional. And UC Irvine was in that regional. UCLA, I can't remember who the fourth team was, but now UCLA had Trevor Bauer and Garrett Cole.
What
Needless to say, they ended up, winning that regional.
weren't those games on the Jumbo Sports TV thing with
Yeah,
Louis Garcia on the call?
yeah, no, those games were Cox Sports Television with.
All right, well, Ronnie jumped away for a second and remind you about Tremonti's Meat and Seafood lunch special today. Everything you need for your tailgating, for your weekend, the meat, the seafood, the wine, the liquor, it's all here at Tremonti's. They can do catering. And don't forget, Thanksgiving and Christmas right around the corner. Come get a gift card from Tremonti's. That's a great idea. Tremonti's Meat and Seafood, Jefferson Highway in Baton Rouge.
That regional in 2010, they it was a partnership with the Jumbo Sports Network and Cox Sports Television. Lynn Rollins and I actually did that regional that had Garrett Cole and Trevor Bauer and of course Anthony Renato for LSU. It's interesting; people have no idea. That Monday LSU gets announced at noon, Monday at noon. Hey, they're going to Los Angeles for a regional. Now, nobody had any insight that that might happen, and nobody expected that would happen. So all of a sudden, Monday at noon, regional in Los Angeles, we have to bid by Tuesday morning. I think we had to turn in our bid by Tuesday morning, if in fact we wanted to bid on doing that regional. Uh, and I mean, there was no one else going to do the regional, so it wasn't like we're competing against anybody. It just was, could we pull this off? With less than 24 hours, not having any lead connection. You got a limited budget. It's not like your ESPN. You just call up, order a truck, or send everybody by plane. You got to work it out. And it just worked out that Vinny Early, who is a longtime producer of our games, and we used to rent our trucks out of Alabama and stuff from Vinny. Just so happened Vinny was on the West Coast. He and Jeff Stewart were on the West Coast at like some little television conference convention kind of thing. And there was a production truck that they were looking at considering buying. And that production truck was in California. And the guy was like inviting them out to come take a look at it. And so when he went to go take a look at it, he said, "Oh, by the way, what if we rent this weekend? Can you cut us a deal?" And that's kind of how it all, came together. And we started buying plane tickets and started crewing people on the West Coast and all that. So it was a wild 72 hours, that's for sure. I can remember that in a big way.
Yeah. I worked with Vinny a couple of times with the Jumbo Network on some arena
Mm-hmm.
football and whatnot. So, great guy, great producer.
All right, so you for the World Series, obviously you both you and I kind of like Garrett Cole. Game one, hard to bet against him for the Yankees. But overall, who are you taking? If you got to bet Dodgers, Yankees, who would you go with?
I'm gonna take the Yankees. I bet Garrett Cole tonight. I already made that bet earlier this morning, and I'm gonna bet the Yankees to win the series. I also have another bet tonight. I was surprised, plus $1.90 whether Otani hits a home run. So I bet it. Well, but you know me, I love that plus $1.90 thing because I mean he's going to hit leadoff, so he's going to get four at bats. You
Or
figure
maybe
at least,
five. Yeah.
yeah. So it's not like he's hitting fourth and he might not get that fourth at bat if Garrett Cole is shoving. So I threw a little bit on that to say, well, come on, Otani, get me a big fly at home. The whole bit. So I thought that was a little bit odd, but you can make like 2,000 bets on the game, the series, the props, all that. And you can do that at the ESPN Bet Sportsbook at LaBerge. And we'll talk about some of that tomorrow morning when we're out there for radio.
Yep. All right.
Saints getting 7 Sunday. Spencer Rattler at quarterback. Carr not back yet. 3 o'clock Louisiana time kick. 40 and a half is the over-under. That's a tad low in the NFL. And that's because the Saints offense is, although they signed a Super Bowl champ wide receiver, Valdez Scantling, who won a Super Bowl, and he's going to be playing. I don't know how many snaps he'll get, but they expect him to play for the Saints. They also worked out former LSU wide receiver Terrence Marshall, but didn't sign him.
I'm not very. I'm not optimistic at all for the New Orleans Saints. I actually almost don't want them to win any more games because at this point, what difference does it make if you finish with 5 wins or 4 wins or 3? Stay with 2 and give yourself a chance to have the first or second pick in the draft. But like I said, I'm glad. In my mind, we said this over and over. Spencer Rattler, let him go. Who cares what happens? Let him get 10, 12 starts under his belt. Let him knock all the cobwebs off this year. Let him try on a dead season. Get all the experience he can so that you can really evaluate him as a staff and as an organization on whether you think he's worth investing in the future on. But yeah, I'm not very optimistic on this. I'm +7 for the Saints. That's a lot of points in the NFL. I don't think it's enough for the Saints, though.
I agree with you. You can't be optimistic. And I really agree with your point. You made this earlier in the week on Sports Shows Daily. Let Rattler go. Because if you let him play the rest of these games, good, bad, or ugly, you're going to get a good reading on him or whether you think he can be a guy to help you next year, or maybe
Right.
you don't think he can be a guy, or maybe he can only be that backup guy. Let's get that label established by letting him play the rest of this year. Even if he throws a couple of picks, on Sunday or or whatever. I mean, you got to give the guy a chance to get out there and show you what he can or can't do. That's the best measuring stick.
I agree, TK. I agree. All right, tell the folks about Tremonti's and where we're going to be and all tomorrow.
All right, well, tomorrow morning we got Sports Shorts Radio out at the ESPN Bet Sportsbook at LeBare's Casino and Hotel Baton Rouge. You can listen on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. Also, listen on ESPN Southwest Radio in Lafayette and Lake Charles. We're simulcast in all 3 markets and appreciate all those fans in Lafayette and Lake Charles that are getting used to Sports Shorts Radio. We'll have Derry Beckwith. We'll have Joel Davis. We'll have Hunter McCann via phone. He's with WBRZ out at Texas A&M. So we want you to join us tomorrow morning, 10 a.m. to 12 noon. Stop by the casino if you want. Be sure to listen on the app or ESPN Radio as you go forward. And don't forget about Tremonti's Meat and Seafood, deer processing. All you guys hunting those deer, they can take care of you right here at Tremonti's Meat and Seafood. Deer processing, game processing. Today, the lunch special, fried catfish with crawfish etouffee. And don't forget, a great idea, gift card from Tremonti's. Any denomination. It can be good at Thanksgiving, be at Christmas. You can buy some wine with it, whatever you need. Gift cards at Tremonti's Meat and Seafood. We want you to check that out. All right, on behalf of Mike here at Tremonti's Meat and Seafood, and on behalf of Ronnie Rance, I'm Tommy Christ. And no matter where you're watching this, YouTube, Facebook, or X, please like and share this show. Like and share the show and tell everybody about it. That helps us all out. We appreciate that very much. Happy Friday, everybody. We'll talk to you tomorrow morning on Sports Shorts Radio.